genre filmmaking, when we say, like, when we say the genre, like, usually it's like a circle of geeks, and we're talking about, like, the horror genre, because we all grew up, like, running around Fangoria magazines, and, but genre filmmaking obviously can encompass, anything sort of outside of traditional drama. So it can be an action film, it can be, generally we're not talking about comedies, but, we're talking about sort of horror, science fiction, anything that would fall, like in Europe, it's not bastardized, it doesn't have the same stigma really, so they call it fantastic filmmaking, and you'll have a fantastic film festival, and you'll have, you'll have like a barbarian film alongside, a sort of like stalk and slash straight up horror film. To me, genre filmmaking is about a world in which you get to make up your own rules. You always have to keep things consistent, but the thing that is so intriguing about genre filmmaking to me is that, the sky is the limit. Particularly in film like Grace, it's like, you're going for real. I mean, that's what you're going for, so, like, it's the same thing no matter, whether there's blood involved, whether you're playing a birth or carving up someone's body. I mean, the drama should be real in every sense, in you know what I mean? Like, it's the same exact thing. Like, the misconception, I think, and the reason we get so many shitty horror movies is because people are doing paint-by-numbers horror movies. And it's not the actor's fault necessarily. You have directors that are telling them to do paint-by-numbers performances. Like, they're saying, okay, well, you're this caricature, and I want you to act big, and like this character, you give me this, and it's just like they're sort of missing the point. Like, the point is, like, it's the same thing. I was like, here's the situation, here's who you are and where you've been and what's going on, here's what you want, like, go get it. Action. What makes a classic horror performance is an actor that is aware that they should not be making a horror performance. Like, a great horror performance is like not a horror performance. You know what I'm saying? Like, it should be like, as soon as someone's like playing a horror guy, you're like, no. You know what I mean? Like, we got to start over. The best actors require next to nothing. Like, it's all in, like, preparation almost. Everyone's process is a little bit different, but I try to, like, feel that out, give you as much information as you possibly need about the situation, about who you are, about the interrelations between everybody in the scene, about what you want, about what they want, about what the conflicts are, everything, and about where you came from and what you're coming into the scene with, and then just stop and go. You just do your thing. I know Jordan through Eli Roth, so I remember seeing her in Cabin Fever, and just thinking she was great and beautiful and talented, and she's a very smart girl and a big movie buff. Like, you can talk Polanski with her. You can talk about Repulsion. Like, I mean, she's sharp and she loves horror movies, but she's not. She doesn't want to get trapped in horror movies. She's not stupid. She wants to be able to make her own choices about what she. So she had told her representation, like, I can't do any more horror movies right now. Like, we got to do something else. And we had sent them Grace, and I guess her manager read it. She's very close with her manager, and her manager called her and said, I know what you said about genre movies, but you should take a look at this. This isn't your average genre movie. And she read it and really liked it. But she wanted to know for sure that I wasn't going to, make... I mean, the script speaks pretty clearly for itself. It's not like an exploitation film, but, like, she wanted to know that this was, going to be somewhat elevated and that we're going to be thinking and not, sort of just, like, I think the way she articulated it was, like, that we weren't just going to be hitting beats, like, hitting, like, genre beats. You get in a situation where, like you don't want to be a scream queen, like, or do you? I mean, I don't know. Like, like, there are some girls are like, like, I know one girl who's, I love this girl. She's like, fuck it, I'm a scream queen. Like, I show my ass. Like, that's how I make my money. Like, like, that puts my kid through school. Like, I got a good ass. Like, I love horror movies and running from, like, dudes with knives. Like, this is the coolest job in the world. And she's totally cool with that. I mean, that shit sounds like fun to me. Like, if I had boobs, like, that would be cool. Like, whatever. But those are personal questions. Like, if that's not okay with you, then. So really, the way to navigate that is, like, Don't take a job that you're not, prepared to commit to 100%. Look at Tom Shanklin's movie, like The Children. I mean, like, this is real like genre storytelling. I mean, look at Fabrice Duel's film, his last film, Vignon. Like, these are not exploitation movies. Like, this is like a whole. These are guys that grew up with this stuff, with an understanding in their blood that like they just like they never even consider this reality of this sort of stigma of horror. Like, it's not about like hitting, like, do I have my chase, do I have my tits, do I have my blood, do I have this, do I have that. It's like, it has nothing to do with that. Like, these are guys, is like, they get it's about story, they understand the potential of like the arena of genre storytelling, and that's how they proceed. So any filmmaker like that, any women in those movies, will be treated however the story demands. They're just not exploitation movies.